Can't edit that out.
You should have heard it.
Need some gum. No, I can't. Guys, welcome to our channel. My name is Louis.
My name is Raul.
And basically we started this channel in order to help friends and family upgrade their life fitness-wise, kind of get them into the gym, get them into counting macros, calories, trying to help better anyone we can.
Yeah, pretty much we've been planning to start this channel for a while, just throwing out many ideas of how we want to help out people that we know and maybe that we might not know if they stumble upon this channel, just giving them information just regarding everything about fitness, living a healthier lifestyle. Like Louis said, just like getting into a workout plan, learning how to track your food, what you eat, and just overall living a healthier life. And hopefully we get enough information to you guys that you find useful and you can apply into your lives and kind of join us for this journey that we're on to upgrading our lives and what we learn and just seeing how we progress through everything that we do. Alright, so as you can see from the title up there, this first video will be going over macros. Macros is probably a word that you guys have heard but may not know exactly what that means. So today, hopefully we can cover all the terms of macros and what those things are, and then how to set up a diet for you guys, just a simple start, going over how to calculate all your calories and all that. And as we all know, the diet is the most important part of seeing progress. You can go to the gym every day, but if you don't have the baseline of what you're eating, knowing how much you're eating, then the progress will either take longer or you won't see any at all. So hopefully by doing this first video, how to set everything up, this will just make everything easier from now on. So that's what we'll be going over today.
And before we get started in the video, if you guys have any questions, make sure to leave a comment on the video down below. We're also going to put our email and we have an Instagram so you guys can message us in any way, because these are just general things. We know they're going to get a little specific for you guys, so if you guys have any questions, please reach out to us.
Yep, you'll probably have questions. I mean, we're going to mess up probably, right? This is our first video, so. So the first thing that you need to know before starting all this macro counting is, what are macros? So pretty much macros are the main nutritional components of any diet. Those are the main things that you will be tracking when you are on a diet, which are carbs, fats, and proteins, the three things that pretty much any food that you eat have.
So now we're going to break down the three type of macros and kind of very typical foods. Obviously this is not the only thing, but these are very typical foods that Raul and I both eat. So the first group would be proteins. That's going to be your chicken, your turkey, any other type of meat, fish, peanuts, and Greek yogurt.
And then the other macronutrient is carbs. So that's one of the most simple things that pretty much all of us eat every single day, which is veggies, fruits, bread, pasta, and then oatmeal too. So those are just a few examples just to cover the carb.
And lastly would be fats. So that would be your cheese, your peanuts, your avocados, your whole eggs, and any type of oil you use to cook.
All right, so now that you know what macros are and a few examples, now you're gonna be like, okay, how much of these carbs, fats, and proteins do I eat in a day? Well, the first step before you calculate any type of numbers is defining what your goal is. So we all have different goals of what we want to achieve in the gym, and the three main ones would be to cut, which is another word to lose fat, maintain your weight, so just maintain how you're looking right now, and then bulk, which means gaining muscle. So once you define your goal, that's when you start all the calculations as to how much of these do I eat, how many carbs, proteins, and fats. All of that depends on what your goal is.
So the second step for counting your calories would be to determine your maintenance calories. So with this, this is where it kind of gets a little more personal to you. You have to first determine the type of lifestyle you live. If you live like an office job and you're sitting down 8 hours out of the day, you would kind of be more 14, more sedentary. If you're more active, say you do a lot of physical activity at your work, you would be a 16. So when you're determining your maintenance calories, you would do your current weight in pounds times something 14 to 16. Any number in between, that's up to you to determine. And that would give you your baseline for your calories. So for this example, we did somebody who is 150 pounds and they're kind of in between the two lifestyles. So we did multiplied by 15, which gave us 2,250 calories.
Okay, so after going through the second step of determining your maintenance calories, this is where your goal comes in. So based on what your goal is, whether it is to cut, so lose fat, or bulk to gain muscle, this is where you find out how many calories you need in order to achieve that goal. So in order to do that, you take those maintenance calories that you found, and if you're cutting, subtract 300 calories, and if you're bulking, add 300, and of course, if you're maintaining, then you would just keep those maintenance calories. And the reason you do that is because if you're cutting, in order to lose fat, you need to be at a caloric deficit, so eating less calories than what you need to maintain the weight you're at right now. And if you're trying to gain muscle, then of course you have to eat more than what you're supposed to be eating right now. So that 300 number is just a start. We recommend doing that for at least a month or a little longer, just to see how your progress is. And if you're making good progress, then after that you can increase it to minus 400 or plus 400 and then 500, but it all depends on how that start is going for at least a month. So follow that. And for this person, the example that we're doing, the 150 pound person, we're just going to say they're trying to cut, so lose some fat. And we did their 2250 that we calculated minus 300. So in order for them to start losing fat, they'd have to eat 1950 calories a day.
Okay, so for the first part of determining how your calories are broken down in macros, you're going to first determine the amount of protein you should eat. For a lean individual, we recommend somebody multiplying their body weight, their current body weight, by 1 to 1.2, depending on how lean you are. If you're extremely lean and trying to put on mass, we suggest 1.2. If you're fairly lean, 1. For somebody who's a heavier individual, same thing goes. So if you're trying to lose a little bit more weight, you're kind of on the heavier side, you would do 0.8. If you're kind of average, do 1 as well. So for our example, we made it somebody very normal, very basic weight. So it would be 150 times 1. So this person would be consuming 150 grams of protein in their diet.
All right, so now that you've determined the amount of protein you should be having in your diet, the next thing to determine is how much fat you should eat. And in order to do this, the simplest way to find out is to do the next calculation, which is 0.3 to 0.4 times those new calories that you're going to be eating and divided by 9. The reason you divide it by 9 is because 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. So for this individual, what we did is did both calculations, which is 0.3 times 1950 divided by 9, and that gave us 65 grams of fat. And if you did the 0.4, it's 86 grams of fat. So as you see, there's a 20 gram difference, and this is where it is up to you to determine how much you want to eat. So if you're a person that likes those fattier foods that we mentioned before, like the cheese, peanuts, avocados, you might want to choose the 0.4 so you can get a little bit more fat in your diet. But if you're someone who doesn't eat a lot of fatty foods and maybe likes the carbs more, then you'll do 0.3 times the new calories. So here is where you have a little freedom of what you want to choose. So just go with whatever you're more comfortable with, and that's how you'll determine your fat intake for the day. And then there's only one thing left, which is carbs, which will be coming up next.
So the last step when determining what's going to make up your calorie intake is the carb intake. This is going to be the remainder of calories that you have. So for the first thing we determined for protein, we said that this individual would be eating 150 grams of protein. That is 4 calories per gram, so that totals 600 calories total. For the fat, we decided to go towards more of the 0.4. So we did 86 grams of fat, which, as we said before, was 9 calories per gram, which totaled 774 calories.
So then now that you have these numbers in calories, you subtract those numbers from those new calories that you calculated in step 3. So what you do is take those 1950 calories minus the 600 calories from the protein minus the 774 from the fat, and you're left with 576 calories. But you have to figure out how much of that is in grams of carbs. So all you have to do is divide it by 4, because 1 gram of carbs equals 4 calories. So then just do 576 divided by 4, and you're left with 145 grams of carbs.
So move over like a little bit more, and then you have to move yours a little bit over. No, you sit in that chair.
Alright, so now that we went through all the math with you, hopefully it makes a little bit of sense. It's a lot at first when you see it, it's a lot of math, but it's pretty simple, and then once you get your numbers, you'll at least have a baseline to know how much you have to be eating in order to reach your goals. So at the end of the day, what we calculated for this 150-pound individual was for their diet that they wanted to lose fat. So they had to be in a caloric deficit. We ended up with 150 grams of protein, 145 grams of carbs, and 86 grams of fat. So in order to see progress, if this individual wants to keep cutting fat, they have to follow these numbers for, we'll say, at least a month to start off. So don't quit after a few days, a week. Progress takes a while. You won't see immediate results. So you have to stick through it, and don't give up. Just keep going through it. It'll work. So follow those numbers as closely as you can. So now you're probably wondering how in the world do I know how many grams of protein I'm eating in a day and all those things. So there's a few ways that are very helpful that will help you reach those numbers every single day.
Yeah, so like Raul said, how to figure out what you're eating to get these numbers is your next question. For both of us, we both have a food scale at home, so we basically weigh everything we eat. Sometimes you can get lucky with just buying little packages of whatever, and it'll have the serving sizes on there, so you'll be able to easily determine your serving size based on that. But our number one thing that we use is an app called MyFitnessPal. That's where we track all of this. It basically does it for you. You're able to scan foods, like the SKU on the back. So it's able to tell you exactly what's in your foods. So I'll just go ahead and show you guys what it looks like. So this is, I should focus. So this is what the home screen looks like. You're basically tracking your foods, exactly how much you're eating, and it gives you your calories and what's left and your goals for the day.
App definitely is a lifesaver, because any other way it'd be pretty impossible to keep track of those numbers in your head. Maybe you could do it for a meal, but then the whole day you're gonna lose track of how many grams of everything, and that's just simple. Like Lois showed you guys, literally just type in a food and anything that you eat. You could literally even find restaurants that you go out to eat at. Any type of food, you type it in. It gives you the exact amount of what a serving is, of grams of protein and everything. And then it makes life so much easier. And then every day, just keep doing that. Like we said, don't quit after a while. Keep track of it, like the first week, and then see how you're doing to see if you're getting close to those numbers. And then if you see yourself, if you find it easy to reach those numbers, then just keep going, keep pushing. And then hopefully all this information, hopefully what we just gave you today, made it a little simpler to find out how much you should be eating in a day if you didn't know how to set up a diet beforehand.
Yeah, so all this is going to matter only a small amount. All this is going to matter only a small amount. This is the foundation. These are all recommended, and these are all very tailored to an example. They're not tailored to you. So throughout doing this, you're going to find out, oh, I like carbs more, or I like fats more. So you need to figure out, you need to determine kind of how it's going to work best for you. This is just the foundation. This is not the end all be all. There's other things like carb loading and carb cycling, things like that you can throw in that are going to help you with your diet process. We're going to have more videos on that, obviously, but this is just the very beginning.
So yeah, hopefully this video helped you guys out a little bit, and then from now on, like we mentioned in this channel, we just want to give you guys a lot of information, how to help you guys reach all the goals that you have. So probably our next video will be like a little mini grocery haul, going to the grocery store and showing you guys some examples of these foods, the different types of things you can get at the grocery store that you always see but may not know how those fit into your macros. So probably do a little mini video, not something big, but just giving you guys some examples of the foods you find at the grocery store in order to reach those numbers in your diet.
Thanks for watching this video. As we said before, we're going to have some more videos coming out soon. If you want, you can leave a comment down below. Kind of let us know what you want us to do, want us to explain, maybe go over, kind of help you guys out, anything you guys want. So please let us know. Thanks for watching.
Thanks guys, see you on the next one.